When did you realize that you were the problem? I noticed my friends were all getting happier, advancing in life, and I wasn't. Courage to say this. Fairly recently realized I'm fat because I'm unhappy and I'm unhappy because I'm fat. Either way I'm the only one who can fix it and I have start giving AF asterisk asterisk asterisk. I had a similar realization. A lot of things that hold me back are related to my insecurities, and a huge insecurity I've had all my life is my weight. I won't let it anymore. I was insanely shy in school. Like almost fully debilitating social anxiety. It was especially bad in high school when the kids I was at least comfortable eating lunch with went to a different middle school. I saw everyone else as being all-knowing and confident, and having some sort of secret script to know the right thing to say. If someone tried to start a conversation with me, my thought process would be, "Oh God, why are they talking to me? There must be some hidden agenda," and just try to get out of the conversation as fast as possible. Then this one graduating senior I was mildly acquainted with for some reason dropped to me that people thought I was stuck up. That was mind-blowing to me. Couldn't everyone tell that they were the confident ones and I was terrified of them? Well, no, they couldn't. It was an epiphany that wow, other people are actual worried about what I think of them just like I'm worried about what they think. And if you avoid talking to people, that's actually hurtful. The same thing happened to my mom. She didn't have social anxiety so much as she was shy. And one day someone told her that she was stuck up, and always had her nose in the air. She didn't realize how her shyness came off to people. I was insanely shy until I was about 15. Someone told me that everyone thought I was stuck up. Then I decided I'd rather have people think I was an idiot than arrogant and just started talking to everyone. Now I'm in my 30s and I still have my panic moments of OMG I'm going to say the wrong thing, but I get through it, and now people comment on how friendly and easy to talk to I am. Recently, whenever I'm angry at my girlfriend and discussing it with her, all she does is apologize. Over and over again. First it made me think that yeah, maybe I'm justified in my anger because she's so apologetic, when in actuality my mood swings are becoming more and more frequent and I'm getting more and more angry over the dumbest things. A few days ago it hit me why I never see changes in her behavior. I keep finding different and increasingly inconsequential things to get mad about, regardless of what she does. Made me take a couple steps back and reevaluate my behavior. My ex-husband did this to me all the time. This is what it's like from the other person's point of view. I got yelled at for not cleaning the water from the top of the metal between the two sinks. I didn't tuck in a chair, and rather than him saying something like, "Can you please tuck in the chair?" It really bugs me. He got up, aggressively tucked it in with an angry grunt, turned to me and went off on how tired he is working and then going to the gym, and he has no energy to clean up after a pig like me. Every Friday on the way home from work, I'd have a nervous conversation with myself, call him and ask if he wants a taco salad too, or just decide. If I did call I'd get, "Why do you have to ask me about everything? Don't you have a brain?" If I didn't call I'd get, "What? You can read my mind? Don't make decisions for me." We had a deal that if I missed my bus home from work, he'd pick me up from the train, a 3-minute drive from home, rather than wait 25 minutes for the next bus or walk 20 minutes uphill home. If he was in the middle of cooking he'd answer the phone angry. Pick me up, not wanting to say hi or kiss me. So, I stopped calling for a ride. Once, I waited 25 minutes, in the rain without an umbrella as I had lost mine and forgotten to buy a new one, and then walked 5 minutes from the bus stop home in the rain. When I got in the door, he yelled at me for not calling him. "What? You think I'm such a bad husband that I want you to get soaking wet rather than call me? Or are you trying to make me look like a bad husband? Nothing I did was right." It's quite abusive behavior. If you are truly changing this, good on you. My ex-husband never realized he was the issue. I always did the wrong thing and he always felt he was right to blame me, yell at me, and call me names. My best friend used to joke that I was creepy, pathetic, and worthless. Then one night they got drunk and confessed they had really meant it all the time. I decided I needed a new best friend and went out and found one. After about a year they let me know I was needy, boring, pathetic, and worthless. Second time was the charm. "How are you doing now, op? Good days and bad days. More bad than good currently. Trying to learn to be happy on my own. Hard to not let what they said be the last thing I think about when I go to sleep and the first thing I think about when I wake up. I was really drunk one night, laying in bed trying to sleep, but all I could hear was insane traffic noise. Sometimes I can hear the road through my window, but this was crazy. Sirens, people shouting, tires rumbling. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but the shouting got louder and louder. I opened my eyes to look outside and see WTF was going on. All I can make out is a police car blocking the road and a policeman running towards me. I'd fallen asleep on a mini roundabout. Edit, since a lot of people are commenting. I wasn't driving, I was walking somewhere before I fell asleep in the road, possibly home, possibly to another pub. Who knows? Stop telling me drink driving is bad. I realized I was the problem a few years back when I had the coolest therapist in the world. She would say how she couldn't possibly give AF **** about my feelings, she only cared about results for me. Coolest lady ever, and I miss her so much. Anyway, she told me a saying, and the saying goes, you have every right to be angry but you have no right to be mean. My life got so much better after that. Jobs always seem to go south 3 or 4 months in. Ah yes, end of the honeymoon period. I don't have any friends, so I've had to accept that it's me that's the problem. Most people are not initiators, and if you want to build friendships you need to be doing most of the initiating. The sooner you learn that, the easier it'll be. As I approach 30 I realize that I have gifted child syndrome, and my success in high school and college theater productions mean nothing when I'm not putting in the groundwork to have a career. Part of that was depression, part of that was liking to get stoned every night. This is it, chief. Even had academic awards going through school and just realized I didn't need to work hard. The bad thing about being smart is you never really have to use it. It took me losing 5 really good friendships because they all stopped talking to me to realize I was the one who stopped talking to them because of fear. I realized I have a hand in every situation in my life, that I am always responsible for myself. Any situation I encounter I have a choice as to how to handle, respond, and perceive it. I was probably 17 when I realized blaming everyone else for my issues is what my parents do, and I don't want to be anything like them, so I took a step back. I used to blame every issue I had on anything and everything I could find. Every apology was filled with excuses, diluting and justifying my conduct, until one day I realized that people don't want excuses, they want apologies, and so then I learned to fix that. Then I realized, people don't want apologies either, they would prefer if problems and arguments didn't happen in the first place. When my therapist told me I overreact when I feel rejected, even if it's a little rejection, due to lack of love my parents gave me when I was little. I'm admittedly still working on this. I had a huge amount of childhood trauma and abuse, and cut the obvious abusers off in my teens. The real progress didn't happen until I cut off the less obvious toxic people as well as the people making excuses for them. After I stopped allowing others to mistreat me, that's when I realized I was making myself unhappy. For a long time, I thought I'd learned that I was the reason for my unhappiness, but I still continued to complain and make excuses for not doing what I wanted, and being who I wanted to be. It felt impossible to stop indulging in self-pity. It's taken a lot of practice to learn to identify when I'm entertaining that victim thought process as it starts. I still slip up sometimes, but I've gotten a lot better at it. I've gone from crying every day and calling out of work at least every 2 weeks to, if anything, a 5 to 10 minute pep talk in my head when I start feeling down. If someone had told me 3 years ago that I'd be as content as I am now, I never would have believed them. I feel like an actual person with interests and hobbies. I'm learning who I am, and I'm starting to really admire who that is. I can enjoy myself when I'm alone, and most days I'm truly grateful for my life. I feel like I probably ended up a bit off topic with this, but I'm posting anyway, lol. When I got fired from a volunteer position teaching at an inner-city elementary school that I'd moved across the country for. Sometimes the squeaky wheel gets greased. To be fair, as someone working in a failing urban school district, I can tell you that it brings the worst out of people. Children can be absolutely vicious. With their lacking brain development, they are terribly self-centered for most of their schooling age. And so your normal adult coping and communication strategies break down quickly when faced with a human that is so self-centered that they just don't respect even the most basic of human needs you have. And when people run out of strategies to cope in a healthy and effective manner, they turn to less great strategies. They become mean or vindictive people. They drink. They do drugs. They become mean to their coworkers. They take it out on parents. They take it out on the kids. It happens. So even if there are parts of yourself that play into the problem, do realize the setting can too. Late last year. 28F, struggling with feelings of being a failure because I'm still stuck in a dead-end job with bad pay, no education, have been trying to get one for the past 8 years but always got unlucky because of money. Vicious cycle. I tried to learn more about my traumas and meditation. Stumbled on this Netflix Vox documentary called The Mind Explained or something, episode about mindfulness. There was a story in it told by a monk about being in a boat while meditating and he was slowly getting pissed off by someone else bumping his boat over and over again. When he couldn't take his rage anymore, he opened his eyes and realized he was on the bank and it was his boat that was hitting it. I realized then that I am the same. Suddenly all the clichés and inapplicable positive inspirational quotes that I've always found to be blah 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 finally made sense. You're the one that allows other people to control your emotions, you can change how you react. So yeah, I'm practicing mindfulness and meditation daily, especially in traffic, and though I'm still a failure with a dead-end job and bad pay, I've accepted that it is who and what I am. I can't change that about myself, but I can change how I feel about myself. Realizing I was very toxic towards so. Broke up with my partner after having the same discussion for 2 months without getting close to resolving it. My main reason for breaking up was that he was not able to have constructive conversations in order to work conflicts out. When we decided to meet up 2 days after the breakup and have one last conversation, we both realized that the topic of our fighting has not been the issue, but that our way of interacting with each other had become super toxic. For me it was a shock that my behavior was very problematic too. So we got back together, and are working hard to be in a healthy relationship with each other. Maybe no one will see this, but I realized I was the problem when I almost ruined my dad's surprise party by staying in my bed and making my family late, and in my mind I was always thinking, they deserve this for what they've done to me. They weren't always there when I was a kid, but now they try to be and I push them away. I'm trying to be better with them, but it just hasn't been the same cause. We got in an argument that day and some tears were shed. By the time I'd been fired from like 20 different jobs, I realized it wasn't just bad luck or just happening to get a bunch of jerks for bosses and coworkers. I was genuinely incapable of competently performing at any job no matter how hard I tried. Anyways, then I went on disability. What kept you from being able to perform your job competently? Autism. I also have a chronic illness that caused me to miss a lot of work, but most of the problem is that I'm autistic. This is sad, but when I had to sleep behind liquor store dumpster on an empty pallet. I was a histrionic, egotist who had so many bridges burned I had to swim. Life has gotten much better since then. My ex was horrible to me, mentally abusive, possessive, estranged my family and friends wherever possible, so I was alone. Ordered me around constantly. But I was the one letting that happen. Yeah, there's horrible people in life who deserve nothing. But you don't have to live with them, do you? You don't have to marry them, have kids? So I didn't. I left. I was the reason I wasn't happy. When I realized I existed between keyboard and computer. You mean chair and keyboard? Ideally the keyboard and computer should be on the same side of you. When I kept having the same cycle relationship-wise, unfortunately being abusive, being ungrateful, getting into fights. I finally took a stand and am going to see a psychologist tomorrow. My friends confronted me and told me, and then I apologized and began to work on fixing it. My friends did the same thing, only I reacted defensively and drove them away.